So Hamlins is a commercial law firm based in London. I am Matty Pryke, the managing partner. We operate in a sector where we work mainly for SMEs, family offices and international businesses with a particular expertise in real estate, media and entertainment and other creative industries like sport. Yeah, I think the challenges we faced were similar to the ones faced by lots of people in the legal sector. It was an infrastructure that was probably out of date. It needed some money spending on it. It needed expertise in the way that we focused that investment. And we were actually in a position where ultimately we knew we were behind. And when COVID came along, we found out very quickly we were very behind. And so needed to update our infrastructure, both hardware, software, and the way in which we were able to support our teams and our business services. I would say that they are very upfront with both the issues you can encounter and the opportunities. So they didn't try to oversell to us how difficult some of these projects were going to be, the time involved, the cost involved. So that transparency was really important to us. They weren't just there telling us everything was going to be wonderful. And that was really important to us, that we were realistic both in our approach and both in what our expectations were for the outcomes. So we went through the usual exercise of talking to about 4 partners, getting that down to 3 in terms of a formal pitch. We then spent time with the individuals at those organisations. For us at Hamlins, personality fit and cultural fit is really important. We spent a lot of time also trying to speak to others who had worked with those businesses. And for us in that process, Quiss came out head and shoulders above everybody else, just for that similar type of business, similar type of approach. And for us, taking what was a very big decision, it was very important that we got that right. So Quiss did multiple things to assist us. The first is the expertise. They were able to point to solutions and ways of working that potentially our in-house teams hadn't been able to have the time or the bandwidth to consider. Then they gave us that extra resource that was obviously very important for the implementation of the projects that we were working on. But then they showed a lot of care and attention to make sure they got those projects over the line. I would say that it's evolved in a way that is almost inevitable for these types of projects. Firstly, there was a lot of heavy lifting at the start to pick up and lift servers and move things and move the ways in which we were working. So there's quite a lot of change management at the start of that. Now, I'd like to think we're a little bit more a business as usual, as much as you can ever be in that place. You're inevitably always going to be looking at improvements and that evolving of your system. But ultimately now it feels a little calmer, I would say, in terms of a lot more of that is about support and project planning for the future, rather than that initial big jump that we had to make in terms of our infrastructure and offering, which Quiss obviously dealt with at the start. Unrecognisable. We were very behind in terms of keeping up to date with some of the technology. We were also heavy in terms of physical servers and the ability to work in a flexible and remote way. Now, like so many businesses, we have that flexibility, we have that ability to work in a way that is essential for both our teams and our clients. And so really, it's that modernisation of the whole infrastructure which Quiss have been key in delivering for us. Well, I'm hoping Quiss will help me with that because I don't always know the answer. But I think, in any professional services business now, there are things that relate to speed that enable us to deliver responsively that are so important. There are, areas around the delivery of high data projects, which we encounter all the time, whether that be on big corporate transactions and other areas of our business. But also, I think that we're going to have a lot more that is actually client-facing from a Hamlins perspective in terms of actually what access our clients are now demanding from us in terms of that availability of information so that they can check and balance everything that we're doing. Well, I think our relationship with Quiss now is so embedded, it would be difficult to see how they won't play a huge part in that. As I said before, I think the expertise is going to be crucial, helping with those projects, with those extra resources, but also giving us that view over the horizon as to the things that we might have to think about in the future, which having that ability to go across the whole market means that hopefully they have a better insight into the sorts of things we need to be considering and planning for. I think it's very important for an understanding of the customers you're dealing with. I think professional services and lawyers in particular can have very particular demands, particular ways of working. And I think having that knowledge and understanding is really important. Then outside of that, the industry-specific products and expertise around that is obviously essential.